All right, guys. Hello and welcome to our first episode of the Warrior Training Systems PowWow. I'm sitting down today with longtime gym member, even longer family member, and healthcare professional Travis Marunde, my little brother. Travis, what's up and how's your day?
So far, so good. I mean, it's a little gloomy outside, but it's been off to a good start, been productive.
It's basically a normal day in Michigan. I can't even say that because it didn't snow today, so it feels actually like we're improving.
Well, the day is young.
That there's time. I know our dad always said that if you didn't like the weather, to wait 20 minutes because it'll change. Man, this place will test you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
Travis Moretti, obviously, Josh's little brother. I am a certified athletic trainer. I work at a physical therapy clinic and grew up in Constantine, so not far away. Growing up as a kid, Kalamazoo was the big city to us, so this is all the further away from home I made it so far.
Does it still feel like a big city?
Not at all.
Right on. Did you play sports growing up?
I did play sports. Very young, little league, ran track, conditioning on and off, which was just if you didn't want to play basketball or wrestle, you did winter conditioning with the football coaches.
Yeah. Constantine really wasn't, you weren't really allowed to have an off season. That wasn't a thing.
You either play.
Yeah, you either played 3 sports or you played X amount of sports and filled the off seasons with just mandated conditioning, which I'm actually grateful for now. None of that high school shit mattered anyway, so we're better off.
True.
So you mentioned that you are an athletic trainer. Tell us a little bit of, but you work at a physical therapy office. Tell us a little bit about what exactly is an athletic trainer and what do they do as like a sweeping generalization, and what do you do specifically?
Okay, I will give you the very business spiel here. So certified athletic trainer, not to be confused with a personal trainer. We are medical professionals. It is a minimal bachelor's degree to be able to sit for your board's exam. If you pass the exam, you are certified. You then also have to be licensed by the state. Then you go from there. So we are trained in the recognition, prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation of injuries. That spans a very wide variety, everything from sideline, emergency response. Only medical professionals allowed to diagnose concussions. So like if you're at a football game and you have a PT there on the sideline, they are not authorized to do that and decide if a player can go back in or not.
Explain to everybody what a PT is.
PT is a physical therapist. So we have a very broad range. We're kind of a jack of all trades, everything from clinical rehab to, like I said, sideline assessment, emergency response. We kind of dabble in everything, but we are not the specialist in anything. So a PT will obviously be better than us. Physical therapy will be better than us. Physical therapy and rehabilitation. On the flip side of that, a paramedic would be a lot more advanced than us at emergency response. So we are limited in our scope of practice, but we have a large base in everything.
You cut out a little bit, but for what you guys, if you couldn't hear at home, basically, yeah, he's like the emergency response team to injury. Like, I mean, like you said, not only prevention and treatment, but recognition, which is really important.
Yeah, and then we are educated and trained in injury prevention, which as a like third outlet gives us a lot of information on training, which again, we're not personal trainers, but we are trained to strengthen and condition athletes to prevent injuries that are likely to happen in their sports. So that being said, I work in a physical therapy clinic, so a clinical setting. For all intents and purposes of my job description, I am on the same level as a physical therapy assistant. So in a physical therapy clinic, the PTs, the physical therapists, are obviously the highest educated and kind of run the show. Beneath them would be physical therapy assistants and or athletic trainers. So my day-to-day in the clinic still involves hands-on treating patients, doing a lot of the similar tasks that a physical therapist would do. The main difference in that is PTAs and ATs do not do the initial evaluation when we receive a new client.
At your office.
Say that again.
You don't do the initial consultation at your office.
Correct.
Which is kind of the opposite at like a sporting event per se. Like if someone got injured, you're actually the first one to do an evaluation.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. But cool. That's a pretty good introduction and background. And I feel like that, hopefully that answers some people's questions. I know there's a lot of confusion in what the hell an AT is versus a PT. And then there's like 40,000 acronyms. So let's jump from profession into
an ongoing issue across the entire profession.
Yeah. So tell me about your kind of start and then your story with CrossFit.
Sorry, I got the start of CrossFit in there.
Like your story of CrossFit.
Okay. Sorry, my connection's breaking up a little bit, so I couldn't hear you. I got into CrossFit back in 2014. We got into it together, actually, you and I. And we weren't going to a CrossFit gym. We weren't in a box. We came across this online. And I remember our very raw initiation was doing the 2014 Open just at the local Globo gym, trying to figure out like what was what as far as movements were concerned. Like we're YouTubing what a power snatch is and, you know, what a clean and jerk, a front squat, double under, all that good stuff. So kind of just learned on the fly, but nobody got hurt. We were safe. We were smart about it. And then later on, so kept training on my own, doing a lot of CrossFit workouts, but at just a regular local gym, which definitely turned some heads. But then started getting introduced to local CrossFit gyms in the area. Visited CrossFit AZO, visited CrossFit 269. Got a really good vibe from CrossFit 269. It was a very young community, very welcoming, and just the general camaraderie of it brought me back a lot to like what it felt like to be on a high school team. So that kind of pulled me into that. So I went on and off for a few weeks, few months. And I believe I officially joined the gym in early spring of 2015. So it's been about 5 years.
Have you done the Open every year?
I have done the Open every year, including last fall for the Open of 20.
And for people at home, like, do you have any expectations or even goals of ever going to the CrossFit Games?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And I think that's valuable for people to hear that there are people who, like yourself, I mean, you've been working at this for 5 years and your motivator is not to be a professional athlete.
Correct. I mean, if I do 1 to 2 amateur competitions a year, that's a big deal to me. And it's just for fun. It's more just a kind of competitive edge and go up against some other people that I don't see every day. But really the general goal of it all is just overall health and fitness.
Yeah, I love that.
And making new friends.
What's the overall vibe of like CrossFit as a whole in the PT clinic in that setting?
So where I'm at, I work with about 5 other clinicians. So a combination of PTs, ATs, and PTAs. It's a very skewed window. There's still very much the concept that, oh, CrossFit's dangerous. Go in there, go 100 mile an hour, do 1,000 reps, get injured. And I've done a lot of work, at least at my own clinic, to try and offset that.
Yeah.
One of my biggest arguments is most of our employees have shown up with some sort of injury, and I have not.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are still involved in, you know, amateur extracurriculars.
Sure.
So nobody in there, including myself, is a competitor. So we go back and forth a lot and banter, but I've done a lot to educate both patients and coworkers about what the goal of CrossFit really is. And that it's not to go 100 mph. It's not to do 1,000 reps. It's not to overwork yourself every day. And if you're doing it like you were supposed to do it, you have minimal risk of injury.
Yeah, just like with any other sport. I mean, if you're playing the game correctly, it's designed to be safe, and that doesn't mean there's never an accident or a slip up. But yeah, like you said, if you jump in there and do 1,000 reps at 100 miles an hour, you're gonna get injured. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, one of my big arguments is obviously we see fewer CrossFitters than most other athletes. That's probably a skewed statistic in the sense that there are a lot fewer CrossFitters out there than there are other athletes. My issue with that is the response. We could have 1,000 people who are runners come in with injuries every year, but no one's out there telling you not to run.
Right.
We have people come in who get concussions from football, who tear ACLs in soccer, and no one's like, soccer's dangerous. You should quit. People should stop doing that.
Yeah. And they shouldn't either. For that to be accurate, I don't think people should stop playing soccer or sports or running or CrossFit.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So right on. So let's talk a little bit about the present now. So we're both obviously, as everyone else is, stay-at-home order in Michigan. We're not supposed to go anywhere unless you have to. In other words, I think they've excused groceries. You can go to some state parks, and they're starting to ease up. But with the COVID crisis happening, how has it affected you personally?
The big things I would say are my job has been affected. Fortunately, I am still working. Over the last 2 months, my hours have decreased. It's been inconsistent. It's kind of a work as needed basis, as we had a lot fewer patients coming into the clinic for their own safety. So schedule has changed. I'm okay with a little time off home. So
good.
But that's actually picking back up now. So I'm starting to get back into full weeks. We're obviously going out a lot less, having a lot more, nights at home versus just going out, even just visiting friends, going out to eat, going and visiting family. That's been a big change in our life. Regardless of the activity, I like to go out and visit. I like to go see people, stay in touch with the family, stay in touch with friends. So we've obviously changed that to a lot of FaceTime, phone calls, and less interaction. But honestly, a few weekly things, day-to-day things, like today, Saturday's usually our day we go grocery shopping. And even that's changed a lot from many different aspects. The local farmers market has kind of disbanded. Some of the vendors are broken up across town, which means if I want to still buy from those businesses, I need to make more trips and spread out a lot more. It's a longer thing throughout the day. Also, as we buy from so many local vendors, a lot of the product availability has been inconsistent. Right. Some of those vendors aren't around right now because they don't have their products. And so it's kind of it's added a little bit of stress to something that I normally enjoy doing. I like to go grocery shopping. If I feel accomplished, I feel set for the week. And it's made that a little bit more difficult, a little more tricky to do, but we're still able to get it done.
Do you feel like overall, so you've kind of touched on some positives and some negatives overall with being locked up and going through the COVID experience, do you find yourself more or less stressed or pretty much the same?
I feel like it's a good balance of positive and negative. It's about your perception. I wouldn't say in general I'm more stressed. My wife's just over 8 months pregnant, so it's been kind of nice to be home with her. She's a teacher, so she's been off school for 2 months now. So us not going other places, me having more time home and off of work, and her being home off of work has given us a lot of time together. That's been really good. We've gotten some stuff done around the house, started preparing for the new addition. And like I said, it's really about how you look at it. Things can be stressful, obviously not being able to go do your usual hobbies and routines. One of my biggest things is going to the gym. I go 5 days a week pretty religiously, short of being out of town or on vacation.
Yeah.
But I'm still working out 5 days a week consistently in the garage, doing the Zoom classes with the gym. So still seeing the community, still involved with them, still fitness focused.
Have you picked up any new, I don't want to say coping mechanisms, but maybe like either habits or any new ways of like dealing with some of the unforeseen stresses?
I don't think anything new. I've definitely set back into some other things that I already enjoy doing that I obviously use the excuse I don't have time to do, which is
Sure.
clearly a lie. It's just that I don't prioritize as much. I love to cook. I love to bake, and being stuck in the house, but still being allowed to grocery shop, we just pick up a few extras, and I try to bake something new every week. Like not only something different from the week before, but I love to try new things. So, I made my first batch of cinnamon rolls during this. I'd like to try making a batch of scones. And that goes for really any food, like just dinner ideas, lunch ideas, breakfast ideas, anything. I'm ready to try something new. So I've been a little bit more focused on that. Just I have the time.
Yeah.
With there's a lot of nights I got to work early, so it's not a rush to get home, make dinner as fast as we can, so we can relax. I've got the next 8 hours. So what do we want to make?
Yeah. It's wild. Like, I feel like we all went from having not enough time to now we have so much time. And now when I ask people like, so why aren't you getting everything you want done? There's so much available. And they're just like, well, there's just a new excuse. So I'm a big believer, like you're talking about how you've overcome, like, well, this changed, so I did this, and this changed, so I did this. If you're a person that just makes excuses, then like you're just going to continue to make excuses, kind of.
Right.
So it's great to hear you saying, here was, I had a routine and this is what I did, and it was a really great habits and healthy routine, but 4, 5, and 6 got dropped off, so I had to like adapt and overcome immediately.
Absolutely. And it all kind of ties together with the pandemic and CrossFit. Is two of the biggest takeaways I have from doing CrossFit over the last 5 years. The first one is learn to adapt to change very quickly.
Yeah.
It can be as trivial as you want for how I learned it. It's like I go into a workout, I have a strategy, just for myself, like regardless of competitive edge, just to go in there and do it the best way I can. There's always a plan A, and then usually there's a plan B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're in the middle of a 20-minute workout and you have to figure out how you're going to change this to be able to survive the rest of it.
Yeah, or when Dave Castro decides to put only dumbbells in the open and just totally ruin your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of my biggest takeaways that I still tell people about today, that you can apply to almost any aspect of life, but that I learned through CrossFit mainly, is just being able to adapt on the fly and roll with it.
Yeah. I think that's something that you should always have a plan. I mean, like, I don't want to discourage that, but I think what you're saying about being able to quickly adapt and overcome is something that, is very transferable to really anything, whether it's your career or your marriage or a friendship or a workout or a COVID crisis.
Right. And then the other one is just facing challenge in general.
Yeah.
I mean, we post workouts all from a day ahead to a week ahead.
Yeah.
Castro posts the open, gives you 4 nights to look it over. And it's just, to be able to just like know that you're going to come in and do Fran and it's going to hurt and it's going to be miserable and you still go in and do it and have fun. Like, you can, same thing. You can take that and apply that to a lot of aspects of life.
Yeah.
Hey, you're about to be stuck at home for 2 months. Well, all right, let's just, figure out what we're going to do and go after it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Enough about COVID, although most of your reaction was pretty positive. So I love hearing that. What about the gym as a whole? So, and we've kind of touched on this already, but has Warrior Training Systems or CrossFit 269 as a gym at all influenced you in other areas? And you kind of just touched on it already in some ways, but either further elaborating on that or in other ways, like has the gym specifically helped you or shaped you in any way?
Absolutely. One of the big things and would be the community, to sum it up. And I think that's true with a lot of CrossFit gyms, but I just happen to go to ours and not to a lot of CrossFit gyms. I've made a lot of friends, and we always talk about how it attracts like-minded individuals. Many people who come into a CrossFit gym and stay and become longtime members aren't people who are lazy or negative or make excuses for things they want in life. Like, it attracts like-minded individuals who even if their interests are different, their attitude is very much the same.
Yeah. I think
made lots of friends there, and it's become, as I said before, it's the closest thing I've felt to being back on like a team.
Yeah.
You know, you have people you see every day, they hold you accountable, but we do plenty of stuff together outside of the gym as well. One of the guys I met at the gym, I knew for about 4 or 5 months, and he stood in my wedding 3 months after that.
Yeah.
So made some extremely close friends, some lifelong friends. And so I'd say that was a big aspect of it.
What do you attribute that to like, what is it that creates that, the like whatever the culture is in whatever gym, what do you attribute that culture development to? Like, how do we do that, and how do we get people like that in and get them to stay?
I think a lot of it stems from the coaching staff. You have to have, the people who run it have to all feel that that's what's best for the gym and make an honest effort to bring that community together. It's just like being on a team or being in a classroom. Kids are going to talk to each other. You're going to, make friends here and there, but it's on the coaches and the teachers. It's on the person overseeing to really make that a community, like to really bring those people together and introduce everybody to everyone else.
That's cool. We're pretty lucky. We have some awesome coaches that I agree. I think that the staff and those people, especially if they're there for a long time, we have people in our gym too that I just kind of consider community leaders. They're not necessarily on staff, but they've been there for years. And it's those people that really that make the difference. I think that there's so many chances to go to places to work out. And a lot of my friends or people I've met are like, well, I don't pay for a gym membership because I don't want to spend the money and I don't need a gym to work out. And they're 100% right. You don't need a gym to work out. But COVID, I think, has been such a cool experience to see how valuable is your community when you don't have a gym to work out.
Absolutely.
I
just hate days when I wake up and it's 30 degrees out and I'm working out in the garage with the door open. It's like, I don't want to do this. And then I just think about it. Well, 1, 7 people are going to text me and ask me where I was at.
Yep.
2, in a half hour, I'm just going to be mad that I didn't go up there and do it with everybody anyways.
Yeah, that the class is going to happen one way or the other. And people are going to do it, whether you do it or not. And you're just going to feel bad afterwards.
Yeah.
I hate being viewed as a gym because a gym is a place. And I really believe that what we are is a lot more than a place. We are a culture, a living, breathing thing. A gym is just a building. And there's no value, really, very little value in that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think we do a great job at not only having fitness events outside of the gym, but also having just recreational events outside of the gym. I mean, I know members who have hosted Super Bowl parties. We do cookouts, pool parties, just vacation together. We do a lot to reach out to each other outside of the gym, fitness related and not fitness related.
Yeah. Awesome. Any last words, man? Anything that you have to say that we missed or we didn't touch on today?
I did have something, but I didn't write it down. I don't remember what it was. I think we came pretty close with the community. I think it went back to, whatever time of day you decide to work out and just not feeling it because it's in your basement or your garage or out in your backyard. I can honestly say in the last 5 years, with the exception of redoing a few open workouts, I've never regretted doing a workout.
No,
There's been a lot of times I've not gotten up and gone to class or did what I was supposed to do, and it really just brings down my whole day.
Yeah,
I've never taken the effort to get up at 5 a.m. and hit a class or go after work when I really don't want to. I've never put that effort forward and regretted doing it. There's nothing truer to me. Every day I feel that way. I mean, there's days that I'm the exact same. And just, you don't ever regret a workout. Even a bad workout, it's still better than not working out. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in person and meeting my
I don't know if we're announcing this X. So meeting my niece or nephew. My nephew.
Told everybody. It would be a nephew.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. I love you. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks a lot. Love you.